Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibbitz. It's Mary, and I'm here with this week's edition of 90 Days in 900 Seconds, Season 10, Episode 10, For Better or For Worse. And let me tell you, all of these couples are better off for worse without each other. But this was a pretty solid episode. If I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a solid B+. There's a lot to unwrap, considering it's about 2 weeks before Christmas. Unwrapping is kind of, fitting for this. So let's set 900 seconds on timer and let's hop right into it. So, guys, at the start of every Jasmine and Gino section, I fear for his life. I really, really do. But he always manages to find a way to come back and save his life. He is a really resourceful Italian dude, and I look up to him for that. Okay? I'm going to explain. So we start off with things have been really tense since the big bachelor party argument. Okay? Now, Jasmine doesn't know how she's going to rebuild the trust with Gino if he keeps lying. This is coming from the woman whose ex technically owns her left butt cheek, but whatever. Okay, so she doesn't know how she's going to build this trust with Gino because Gino, the big bad liar, keeps lying to her. And she wants to know, Gino, why did you feel the need to go watch naked women dance? And Gino's like, well, it's part of my American tradition. This is what men do in America when they go get married. It may not be part of your Panamanian tradition, even though you did have a bachelorette party, but it's part of the American tradition. Now, Gina was out and she was like, where were you? And he was like, I was out with my cousin Dane. Okay. Now we know that Jasmine doesn't like Dane, but Dane is going to come in handy. I'm going to get into this in a minute. Okay. So Jasmine's like, what else is part of the tradition when a man goes to a strip club as part of his bachelor party? And this is where I started to fear for Gino's life, because you see like the switch starting to go. Okay. She's like, what else is part of the tradition, Gino? Is a tradition that you touch the woman? It's a tradition that the woman gets on you and blah, blah. So you could tell that she's starting to go on a spiral. And Gino's like, no, that's not part of my tradition. But, let me tell you, I was out with Dane and he brought up a good point, okay? That I wasn't upfront with you and I should have been, and I'm sorry for that, okay? So, Jasmine, I just want to point out, Gino's family is not all bad, okay? Because Dane pointed out to Gino that he fucked up, okay? So, Jasmine gets the apology that she wanted from Gino. And of course, boom, here comes the tears. Oh, Gino, I'm so overwhelmed. You have no idea. I'm so overwhelmed. So, of course, Gino forgives how she was a raging bitch, about to rip his head off and have it for lunch. And they're embracing and everything's okay. Next scene, Gino is taking her for the great American pastime of bowling. Okay. And this was actually a cute scene between the two of them. Jasmine says the bowling alley smells like smelly shoes and farts. And she swears that people just go bowling as an excuse to eat junk food. Because boy, did Gino eat junk food. He ordered, I think, everything on the menu. Nachos, beer, hamburger, pizza, you name it. He ordered it. And Jasmine was too busy smelling the bowling shoes to want to eat, because when she was done smelling the shoes, I'm sure she had no appetite. Jasmine's a pretty good bowler. She's a pretty damn good bowler, even though running, soccer, beach volleyball, more, active sports are her type of sports, but she's a pretty good bowler. So And Gino takes the opportunity to drop a little surprise on her at the bowling alley. Since things have been so rough since she's arrived, he decided that they're going to go on a little trip and think about somewhere, warm, tropical. She's like, Hawaii? And he's like, no, maybe, in the future, I could afford to take you to Hawaii, but how about Miami? And there you go, Gino. That is the moment that you opened up the can of worms that you will never be able to close. Because, and I'm going to say, I seen this comment a lot online, but I thought about this immediately. Paula and Russ, remember them? When Paul convinced Russ to go to Miami, I immediately thought of Paul and Russ. And, they never left Miami. Okay, so, Gino, you opened up the can of worms, and I don't think you're going to be able to close it. So now they're going to Miami. They're going to Miami. So Jasmine is so happy when they land that she strips as soon as they walk out of the airport, okay? Because she needs to get all of the solar energy that she can. She is so happy. She's crying again, but it's tears of joy, okay? So they get to their place. Oh my God, it has a balcony, a beautiful pool. Jasmine is in heaven. She is in heaven. She is sunning. She's loving this. But there's always a but when it comes to Jasmine. There's always a but, okay? She's sad because she's missing her boys, okay? And as a matter of fact, Juanse had written her a letter, and he had wrote in the letter that he was sad. And Jasmine's worried that she's, causing her boys trauma. And Gino's like, I know, we're going to do this as soon as possible to get them here. Look, we got you here. We're going to do this as soon as possible, and we're going to get your boys here. So Jasmine decides that she's going to make a video to show Juanse how beautiful Miami is. And Papa Gino and his bad Spanish in the video. It's all cute and heartwarming until next week when Jasmine is yelling at Gino for something, because she will be. So now, moving on to Rob and Sophie. And I just want to share something a little personal with you guys. My husband watches 90 Day Fiance with me on Sundays. Well, kind of watches it with me as he's looking at his DraftKings app, as he's paying attention to football. And then he makes me change the channel during commercial breaks so he could look at the football score and such. But during this week's episode, as I was watching 90 Day Fiance and he was looking at his DraftKings app, he looked up at Sophie and Rob and said, you know something? That is the bootleg version of Ice-T and his wife. What's his wife's name again? The blonde one. I was like, Coco. And he was like, yeah, that's the bootleg version of Ice-T and Coco. So I just wanted to give you that, my husband's contribution to my 90 days and 900 seconds. So Sophie has just broken the news that she's bisexual. And you can hear a pin drop. It is so quiet, okay? You can hear the wheels turning in his head. It is so quiet. So finally, when he decides to speak, he's like, so this is something you should have told me like way before. And she's like, well, this is something that I just recently come to terms with. So I couldn't have told you way before when I didn't come to terms with it way before. Okay. So now first, he's questioning her about her sexuality. Okay. Like, are you really sure that you're into women and that you just don't think women are pretty? Like, you actually want to have sex with a woman? Dude, yes. Okay. She just told you that she just recently came to terms with this. So I'm sure she went through all of this. Okay. Who the hell are you to sit here and question her? Number one. Okay. So now he turns around and it basically is taking this as a hall pass. Instead of being the supportive fiance and saying, okay, you know something, we'll figure this out together. He's like, listen, if you sleep with a woman, we sleep with a woman. Okay? If you're gonna fuck a woman, I'm gonna fuck a woman. Excuse me? This is not your hall pass. Like, hello? She is telling you that she has figured out her sexuality and you are taking this as a hall pass. She is like, no, I don't think so. So they get into a tiff about this and still decide to go shopping for rings. They still argue about it in the car on the way to shop for rings. Okay? He is insisting, okay, that what if she sees some chick walking by and she wants to get with her? I'm like, dude, oh my god, I couldn't even wrap my mind around this, the whole conversation, his attitude, and the fact that they were driving to go shopping for rings. Okay, so then they get to the jewelry store, and Tony the jeweler had no idea what the fuck he was getting into, and it's always the store employees. Okay, so this poor guy is like, hi, can I sell you a wedding ring? What's your budget? 18 karat gold, you know, rose gold, platinum, titanium. What are you looking at? And Rob is like, cheap gold. Sophie wants to crawl underneath the jewelry cases, but he doesn't stop there. Okay, so he's like, yeah, you know, we kind of have a time limit on when we have to get married. She's here on a K1 visa, and you know, I just keep learning things about her every minute. She just dropped a bombshell on me while we were driving here. And Sophie looks like she wants to get a shovel and start digging her way like out of the jewelry store. She's like, he is such an asshole. I had just asked him to keep this whole thing private, even though they just filmed it for national TV. But I just asked him to keep this whole thing private. And now he's telling this stranger, okay, that I'm just telling him he's just learning new things about me. So the jewelry store guy is like, so what's your budget? He's like, $500 for 2 rings would be great. So the guy manages to find 2 rings for $250. And before you know it, they're toasting each other with champagne. Sophie, girl, I know you said that you're cool with marrying Rob, but hey, can we get a little bit of self-esteem and be uncool when marrying this dude? Because no, this is not it. This is not it. Okay, Sam and Citra. So his family's holding a barbecue, and they have been supportive about his relationship when they finally realized that it was real, because they've been teasing him this whole time, especially his dad. Okay, because his dad really didn't believe his relationship is real, but his dad also believes that the aliens are going to come and pick him up and take him one day. So anyway, Sam's mom is having a real hard time about Sam converting, which Sam knew this was going to happen because his mom is like a real devout Christian, and his mom is having a real hard time about the whole Christmas thing. I'm having a real hard time that Sam thought that Yom Kippur was the Muslim version of Christmas. Yeah, Sam, if you're converting, I think you should do a little bit of research. That's all I have to say. Okay. Now, Citra is having her last spicy Indonesian meal with her sister and her dad. Her dad's like, remember, as soon as you land in the US, you need to find a mosque. You need to get him converted. When I arrive, I need to witness the wedding. And why is he allowing his daughter to marry somebody in the US so far? Because Sam's willing to convert to Muslim, whether he wants to or not. He's willing to do it. And Citra's father is, you know, he's impressed by that. So, okay, Citra is doing the trip. She's doing the trip, and Sam is getting ready for her. And I'm impressed, okay? Because unlike Gino, he did the cleanup. Okay, he realized that he is a messy, dirty motherfucker. He's a bachelor, and he's like, shit, Citra's a germaphobe. I need to clean up. So he swept. He got new pillows, a brand new prayer mat. He wore the fancy shirt that Citra got him, the batik shirt, okay? The fancy batik shirt. He listened to her. He put that shirt on. He got flowers, check. Sign, check. And went to the airport to wait for his lady. And she shows up. The two of them jump into each other's arms. He tries to twirl her around. Wasn't quite successful at that. But hey, you know, they're cute. And we'll see how this progresses. They have 14 days to get married. One thing is she doesn't know. She does know about the arrest. He was arrested. He had Suboxone, okay, on him. Apparently, he had a prescription, but it wasn't in a prescription bottle. He was in a car with his co-worker. Co-worker was speeding. They were pulled over. The pills weren't in a prescription bottle, and he was arrested. So he missed the deadline for the diversion program. So now the problem is, because he missed the deadline to sign up for the diversion program, he could either get probation or go to jail. Citra doesn't know this. Citra doesn't know that he missed the deadline for the diversion program. So Citra's coming here, and Sam could possibly go to jail. So we shall see. Moving on, Nikki and Igor. And this, I'm just like shaking my head because these two, I don't know. Okay. Nikki is running in horror from him. And I get it because she just found out that Igor was still fucking around on her. But you know something, Nikki? You fucked him from the beginning. So I don't want to say that you deserve what you got, but I'm going to say it. You do. So Nikki realized that while she was being his sugar mama, he was getting sugar from other women, from his woman friends. Okay. So she's running in horror from him. She's like, I hate you. I hate you. I don't want to do this engagement anymore. And he's like, listen, you know, he doesn't think he did anything wrong because they weren't serious at the time. They weren't serious until he put the ring on their finger. And he wants Nikki to realize that. And he wants Nikki to like put everything in the past and see what's happening now. Okay? My family, my friends. I introduce you to my friends. My friends know that you're trans. You sat there in front of my friends and like announced that you were a drug addicted prostitute. He didn't say that, but I'm sure he was thinking that. Okay. I mean, all these things, don't they matter for anything? Can't we just stick that past situation in the garbage and just move on with our future? Because, you know, he wants to hang on to his sugar mama status and green card his very life. Are you kidding me? He is hanging on to that, okay, by Nikki's fingernails, okay? And Nikki is being the drama queen for the airtime that she can. She is like, oh, you have broken my heart, but a person like me doesn't have many options. And as open-hearted and open-minded as Justin has been towards me, I think I'm going to have no choice but to forgive his indiscretions. And it's like, okay, Nikki, you could get down from the soapbox now. And she's like, but the worst part of it all was knowing. I knew something was up. I knew something was up. Okay. So now, moving on to Devin and Nick. so much to unpack with these two. First, Daddy Devin did not like the whole, how Nick calls his daughter Piggy, and how, what Nick thinks about Americans. Okay, so he decided that he's going to have a little friendly talk with his future son-in-law. Okay. Daddy Devin may look, normal, unassuming, but don't mess around with Daddy Devin, because he owns a boat, and I won't doubt that he will take your body, put it in a boat, take it out somewhere, and dump you, and you will never be seen again, Nick. Okay? So Daddy Devin is having a conversation with Nick, and he's like, first of all, your thoughts about Americans. I'm not crazy about that. And he's like, well, Nick's like, well, you have to understand, in Korea, there's not fat people. Everyone's skinny. And the people that are considered overweight are not as large as they are in America. Okay, fair. And Daddy Devin is a reasonable person. He's like, okay, but you call my daughter Piggy. Do you think my daughter likes that nickname? And Nick says, well, she told she didn't, but I keep saying it, and I guess she got used to it. And Daddy Devin looks at him like, are you fucking kidding me? So he's like, do you think that's a good way to start off a marriage, to start off a relationship? Basically badger and berate my daughter into accepting a nickname? And Nick laughs. And at that moment, I thought Daddy Devin was going to off him, put him in a boat, and take him out. Okay? But, Daddy Devin handled it very calmly. And he's just like, I just want you to understand that could lead to resentment on Devin's part. Okay? And just think about it. Now, Devin, on the other hand, now I've seen lots of comments about, she's weird, she's strange, and things of that sort. I just want to share that she has shared on social media that she suffers from TMJ, jaw disorder. So that's why maybe it seems like she's mumbling at times. When she gets tired, it gets worse. But Devin was not having it this episode, and she was bratty. Okay, I am going to say it. So she ordered a custom, let's see, what is it called? A custom hanbok wedding dress. Okay, now I don't understand, if she ordered the dress, why didn't she know that there was going to be gold on top? That's my first question. But there was gold on top, and apparently she hates gold. Hey, we all have a color that we hate on us, okay? So if she custom ordered the dress, why didn't she know that there was going to be gold on top? Number one. So she tries on the dress, and her mother can tell by her body language that she hates it. So her mother's like, okay, we're going to take it to the seamstress. We're going to see what the seamstress can do, but we're on a crunch time period. So it may not get done on time. So mom, being sensible mom, wants to go back up wedding dress shopping. Devin hates dress shopping, period. But wedding dress shopping, she would rather get a root canal. But Devin, you need a backup plan. You always need a backup plan. But she was acting like a brat. I'm sorry, she was. She was acting like a brat. And then she had a meltdown. She took her mic off. She didn't want to do it anymore. She better hope that the seamstress is able to fix her original dress. That's all I'm saying. Okay? She says her mother could be a nag. I think mom was just trying to be helpful. That's my opinion. Now, Clayton and Annalise. Lots of mixed feelings. Lots of mixed feelings. Annalise sometimes reminds me of Manuel, always complaining, but then sometimes she has points. Okay, so they go to a llama farm because Clayton is, really trying his best. Okay, so they go to a llama farm because he wants her to be reminded of her home. He's really trying to get some ass. Okay, she's been here for a month and he hasn't gotten any ass. So it takes her to a llama farm, and the goats are the most action he's seen. Okay, the goats are like humping him as he's feeding the llama. And then he takes her to a Peruvian restaurant. And, she tells him that her mother has been questioning her about her daily routine. And, she didn't realize that Clayton spends a lot of time in the house, a lot of time on the computer, a lot of time on his video game, and he's not very sociable. She likes to go out, she likes to do things, she likes to be sociable. He doesn't really have a circle of friends to be sociable with. Did you know that his best friend of 10 years, he has never met him personally? It's his virtual best friend. And Annalise can't really wrap her mind around it. And she's like, I think it's kind of weird. And I'm like, I get it, girl, I get it. But now you think it's weird that you're here? You should have picked up on this, how he doesn't have any real life friends, that all his friends are virtual. And like Clayton pointed out, hey, you met me online, but then she turns around, good point, but we met in real life, otherwise it would have never worked out, good point. Then she's like, the apartment is closing in on me. This apartment is meant for 1 to 2 people. Having his mom here is making me insane. So she tells Clayton, I think we should go on a trip. We should go on a trip to go see your best friend. And Clayton's like, you want to do this before the wedding? And she's like, yes. And she says in her little confessional thing, I want to see Clayton have a real friend, not virtual ones, a real friend before we get married. Clayton is nervous to meet his virtual best friend of 10 years. So we shall see how this all turns out next week. Thank you so much, guys, for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Hit that like button. Share my video with a friend or 10. And please consider joining my membership for $5.99. I think it's a pretty good bargain for great content. There should be a join button on my banner and a link in my description box. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.